Welcome, focused learners, to this Elite Masterclass Explainer. Today, we are completely changing our perspective. We are going to adopt an absolute, top-tier examiner's lens to demystify a universally critical topic, the double-entry system and accounting equation for the Cambridge AS and A-Level 9706 syllabus. If you've ever sat in an exam hall, looked at a high-tariff 15-mark question, and wondered exactly how to unlock those top marking bands, you are in the exact right place. Today is not about basic bookkeeping. This is a highly strategic, deeply analytical breakdown of what the people grading your papers are actively hunting for. We're going to dissect complex command words, master your time allocation, and expose the precise roadblocks that needlessly cost students marks year after year.
Here is our strategic playbook for today's session. We'll start with mastering core principles, move into the 3 key assessment objectives, break down the method mark strategy, dive deep into critical analysis and evaluation, and finish by avoiding top examiner traps.
Let's jump right into Section 1, Mastering Core Principles, the absolute foundation of your exam success. Okay, look at this quote. A senior examiner explicitly noted that this topic appears in every single examination series. You literally cannot hide from it. It's the absolute bedrock of all accounting logic. But here is where students get completely derailed. It's not just about doing the math, it's about interpreting complex texts and data under intense pressure. Let's look at the anatomy of a high tariff, say a 9 to 15 mark question. Examiners use very specific command words that dictate exactly how you need to respond, and you have to know the difference. For instance, if a prompt says analyze, you need to break the data down into its component parts and show how they interrelate. But if the prompt says evaluate, that's a whole different ballgame. Evaluate means you have to judge the data, weigh the pros and cons, and come to a justified conclusion. Similarly, explain just requires you to clarify a concept with reasons, but to what extent? Demands that you argue the limits of a concept, acknowledging alternative viewpoints. If you treat an evaluate question like an analyze question, you instantly cap your score, no matter how perfect your math is. This brings us to the double-entry conceptual framework. It isn't just about balancing numbers. It's an entire system relying on systematic analysis and evidence-based reasoning. The Cambridge academic benchmarks prioritize analytical depth over superficial breadth. Top-performing students don't just memorize rules. They exhibit a connected, conceptual understanding that transfers seamlessly to completely unfamiliar, highly complex contexts. To illustrate this, let's head into our collaborative digital study suite. Imagine we have 2 scholars with us today tackling a massive multi-part question. We've got Alex, highly technical, an absolute wizard with formulas and facts, but who tends to freeze up on open-ended evaluation. And we have Sam, a brilliantly creative thinker who crafts amazing arguments but severely struggles with structural precision and strict timing. Alex is looking at the conceptual framework and wants to just list out every single ledger entry perfectly. But Sam rightly points out that without explaining the why behind those entries, they aren't showing analytical depth. They're just skimming the surface.
Let's move to Section 2 to see exactly how Alex and Sam are going to be graded. The 3 key assessment objectives.
Successful candidates must demonstrate competence across all 3 of these distinct cognitive domains to truly excel. Think of this as the examiner's DNA. Column 1 is knowledge and understanding, also known as AO1. This is your factual baseline. Column 2 is analysis, or AO2, which is your ability to process data logically. And column 3 is evaluation, AO3. Think of this as the final boss of the exam. Now, back in our study suite, Alex and Sam are having a massive debate over how to allocate their time on a 15-mark essay question based on these AOs. Alex is pushing hard for a purely factual approach, arguing we need to secure all the AO1 marks first by defining every accounting principle. But Sam is shaking their head, arguing for a broader perspective. No, Alex, the knowledge marks are capped. We need to spend 70% of our time on AO3, building an argument about the limitations of the data. Who is right? Well, they both have a piece of the puzzle, but they're both slightly missing the mark. You cannot reach the highest marking bands by only demonstrating 1 or 2 of these domains. Your answer must weave them together seamlessly. You state the fact for AO1, you apply it to the scenario to show the impact for AO2, and then you judge its overall significance for AO3.
This perfectly tees up Section 3, the method mark strategy, where you earn points for your actual process.
Notice this strict, standardized sequence you must follow to systematically process complex problems. Examiners genuinely want to see your brain on the page. Step 1, identify key elements. Step 2, apply relevant principles. Step 3, Execute your analysis with abundantly clear working. Step 4, verify results. Step 5, present in the appropriate format. Missing any of these steps means leaving valuable process marks on the table. Let's look back at Alex and Sam. They are actively drafting a model response to a brutal double-entry scenario paragraph by paragraph. They've nailed step 1 and 2, but suddenly they hit a massive roadblock on step 3. Alex is doing all the calculations in the margins, completely disorganized, while Sam is writing long, flowing paragraphs that don't actually link back to Alex's numbers. They are completely out of sync, and they are bleeding time. If they submit this, the examiner cannot award method marks because the working isn't explicitly linked to the analysis. The logic is totally hidden.
Okay, I'm actually going to pause Alex and Sam's session right here to step in, because what they are failing to use are strict procedural conventions. But before I show you the exact cognitive strategy we're going to use to get them unstuck and turn their mediocre answer into a flawless, full-mark response, let me pause for a quick, crucial reminder. If you want to consistently crush your Cambridge exams and get access to these elite breakdown strategies every single week, make sure you hit that subscribe button for Ace the Exam's IGCSE O and A levels. That's at acetheexam_IGCSE. Turn on all those notifications right now so you never miss a hack that could bump you up a whole grade boundary. Okay, let's fix this paragraph. I'm telling Alex and Sam to stop writing and structure their thoughts. Practical application means you must use proper headings, correct terminology, appropriate formats, and clear annotations. We are rewriting their flawed section right now out loud. Instead of messy margin math, Alex puts the calculation dead center, asset turnover ratio equals X. Then Sam immediately follows up using precise terminology. As demonstrated by the ratio, the efficiency has decreased due to. Boom! Do you see that? We just fused AO2 analysis with strict procedural formatting. The examiner can now see exactly where the number came from and exactly what it means.
Moving on to Section 4, Critical Analysis and Evaluation. This is how you unlock those top bands. Welcome to our interactive pause and practice visual workshop. I want you to imagine a complex data table right here, detailing two different companies' financial health. Now, imagine a 60-second countdown timer ticking away. How do you analyze it? When executing comparative analysis within the double-entry system, top-scoring candidates never ever just list facts side by side. They explicitly identify similarities and differences, but more importantly, and this is where you get the massive points, they use comparative connectives, words like whereas, conversely, furthermore. They support every single comparison with solid evidence from the provided data, and they draw conclusions about the relative importance of those points. If Company A has better liquidity but Company B has better profitability, which one is actually in a better position given the current economic climate? That is what the examiner wants to know. Keep in mind, true evaluative thinking means you are constantly challenging the data provided. You must question assumptions. Is this data fully reliable? Consider different business perspectives. How would an investor view this versus a supplier? And you must explicitly justify your final decisions with hard evidence. It is never enough to simply state what happened. You have to evaluate why it matters, how it impacts the broader accounting equation, and what the future implications are. This is exactly what Sam excels at, and it's what separates an A-grade student from an A-star student.
Finally, Section 5, Avoiding Top Examiner Traps. Let's learn from the most common past mistakes.
For Scene 2 of our visual workshop, I want you to play Spot the Flaw. Imagine a poorly written student answer on the screen. It says, the business should improve its accounting system to make more money. What's wrong there? Everything. These are the precise roadblocks where students needlessly bleed marks year after year. Trap 1. Answers are far too vague. Make more money is terrible. Examiners want specific details like improve gross profit margin by reducing direct material costs. Trap 2. Forgetting to check format and presentation. In the intense stress of the exam hall, students forget to put dollar signs or rule off their ledger accounts, losing incredibly easy marks. Trap 3. Answers are not specific to the provided context. If the prompt is about a struggling manufacturing business in a highly competitive market, your answer must reflect that specific scenario. You can't just copy-paste textbook theory about a generic retail store. You have to contextualize every single point.
Here is a massive alert straight from the principal examiner reports. Candidates consistently confuse key terminology. They mix up markup and margin, or provisions and reserves. The golden rule to completely bypass this trap is to rigorously define your terms before relying on them in your extended responses. Never assume the examiner knows what you mean or that you can get away with loosely using technical words. Proving your knowledge right out of the gate sets a tone of authority for your entire essay.
Let's bring Alex and Sam back in for our final wrap-up strategy. Through this session, they've both had massive personal breakthroughs. Alex realized that formulas without context are useless, and Sam realized that beautiful arguments without structured, formatted data will fail. To synthesize everything we've done today into 3 core memorable pillars for you to take away, first, use the 3-step question scan. Always underline the command word, highlight the specific context, and note the mark allocation before you write a single word. Second, use the paragraph balance formula. Every analytical paragraph must have AO1 knowledge, AO2 application, and AO3 evaluation. And third, implement the last 5 minutes review checklist. Force yourself to stop writing 5 minutes early just to check headings, annotations, and clear workings. To encode all this, use a visual story method to map out the flow of transactions before attacking past papers. Practice is your ultimate weapon to build this procedural muscle memory.
I will leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder. If the double-entry system is the foundation of all accounting logic, how will you adapt your strategy today? What exact steps will you take to ensure your specific context application and your formatting are truly flawless for your next exam? Crushing Cambridge exams requires consistent, elite strategy. Don't just work hard, work smart. Hit that subscribe button for Ace the Exam's IGCSE, O, and A levels at AceTheExam_IGCSE. Turn on the notification bell so you catch all our future exam hacks, and leave a comment below right now with your exact target grade. Keep that elite examiner's lens sharp, stay analytical, and I will see you in the next Masterclass Explainer.